Nothing says Minecraft more than a massive survival kingdom, so I challenged myself to build something incredible within 1,000 days in hardcore Minecraft. And despite the odds, I'm here to tell the tale, so kick back, grab a snack, and enjoy the story of the hardcore kingdom. As we all know, Rome wasn't built in a day, but this video isn't about Rome. It's about our journey to create a stunning survival kingdom, one that we can make our own together if I can live to tell the tale. Welcome to the hardcore survival kingdom. I took a moment to appreciate the sunlight on the first morning of our hardcore adventure. It was time to get settled with the basics. As I stumbled across a village, I was reminded of my goals for the first episode. My first goal was to get full iron armor, goal 2 was to find a location to build our kingdom, and goal 3 was to make an awesome starter base. I left the village with some more food in hand. These extravagant lands were just beckoning for us to find our new home, and so the adventure began. We found our new home for the survival kingdom on the morning of day 3. We were able to get fully ironed up that morning, accomplishing goal number 1 of the video. I placed down some bamboo and got straight to work creating a starter farm. By the way, if you're gonna like this video, the only way I'm gonna know is if you actually hit the like button. This is my second channel, and this series is a way for me to make some other types of videos while I work on my 100 days videos. You can find my main channel here. On day 4, I decided to take a chance and go to explore the massive cave that was below the village.
I was out drinking, looking for the next thing. I couldn't really settle down.
With some tools and ores finally in hand, it was time to start creating some infrastructure for the survival kingdom.
If you're curious to why I'm digging out this massive cave, stay tuned. This place will make an appearance in the next video. After making the path to the cave and collecting a bit more clay, on day 11 I got to work creating the first building of the Survival Kingdom. And there we have it. I'm really happy with how the build came out. I thought that it was perfectly textured for the environment. With the starter house complete, we can consider today's video a mission success. We got full iron armor, found a home for the kingdom, and made our first base. Let me know what other types of builds you'd like to see going forward in the Survival Kingdom. In particular, I'd love to know what to put in this area behind me. If you like this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. And if you like hardcore Minecraft, feel free to take a look at my 100 Days Minecraft videos, which you can find on my main channel. Until next time, to feed our massive survival kingdom, we're gonna need a lot of wheat. So in today's episode, we'll be building a beautiful windmill, and we'll stock it up with an unlimited supply of wheat. But I've been busy between episodes. Let me show you what we've been up to. You can kind of tell that I got carried away. So it's time for the game plan. As the sun sets, you can see that we have this hill that's right over here by the campfire, and my plan is to put a beautiful windmill right over there. However, this beautiful build is very detailed and it's going to take us a lot of resources. In particular, we're going to need a ton of mangrove wood. So I say it's about time that I do one of my favorite things and give you all a beautiful music montage. Oh, I thought it was a mangrove swamp. I've been doing this for days now. It is 5 days later, and with 12,000 blocks worth of exploration in, I think that I'm going to call it for the day. It is day 38, so I think that we're going to wait for a wandering trader to give us a couple of mangrove saplings, and for now we're going to head home and I'll show you what we ended up getting. And by the way, since I used the Terralith mod pack and the biomes are so big, I used the Fabric Wastestones mod to teleport, making things just a little bit easier for myself. But let's head on home so we can get some real work done on the kingdom. And we are back at the kingdom. It feels good to be home after so many days of exploration. And although we don't have mangrove logs, we do still have a pretty bountiful harvest. I did discard the wood that we collected, but if we hop into here, you can see that we have 2 diamonds, 5 blocks of gold, a couple gold ingots, 4 emeralds, a couple of golden tools, and I think that I'm gonna hang up this Silk Touch golden hoe. We got almost enough obsidian for another portal, a ton of gold, some glistering melon slices, a couple of acacia saplings, some hay bales, along with a saddle, which is a huge find and a couple of coast armor trims. We'll grab ourselves some leather and make ourselves an iron frame so that we can hang up this golden hoe. I really think that it looks nice when you're coming in the house right here. But speaking of awesome hoeing, it is just about time for us to solve the main goal of this episode, which is solving the food crisis for our kingdom. I did want to show you this little cave inlet right here with a lava path that goes down to a ginormous cave, and we totally need to do something with this place. You may remember in the first episode that we ended up digging out this big cave, which was going to be a big part of today's episode. And that is absolutely true, and I've been chopping away, but we have to finish it up today. You see, every good kingdom needs wheat, and it's our job to get a stable food source. So out of eyesight here, we're going to have a wonderful automatic wheat machine, but it is just about time to start on digging because we have tons of cleaning up to do around here. And we'll talk a little bit more about the farm when we're done with that. I always think that there's something so satisfying about building a cave in a mountain, but if we come down the steps right here, you'll notice that we already have our chests ready to go for this automatic wheat farm. But I am nowhere near good enough at redstone to even know how to start to get this thing to work, so we're going to be following a tutorial by Treasure Toad, which I'll leave in the description below. Let's crack on with this build. On day 48 of the Survival Kingdom, our food crisis has been resolved. So we have this huge terrace looking thing right here, and if we go up to the top, you'll notice that we have 3 dispensers, and in each of these dispensers, we have 1 water bucket. You'll notice if I jump on the back right here that there's a little bit of a redstone line going on the back, and if we come to the back of the build, you'll notice that we have another redstone line that comes through right here. We have 2 streams of water which will be hydrating the crops, and if we cut through right here, you can see that it goes all the way down here. There's a row of hoppers right here which will feed our drops into the chest. The glass block right here allows for us to open the chest without any obstruction. And so what we do is we press this button right here. All of our crops will be planted, and you'll notice that a water stream will come down to wash out all of the crops, which will go into the hoppers, and then we can collect them from the chest right here. And when we want to get rid of the water, all we do is we hit the button once again, and you'll notice that the dispensers will pick up the buckets, and then we can replant the harvest. So the last thing to do is to take our trusty iron hoe and get all of these seeds planted. We finally made our first blocks of copper, so I'm going to space them out pretty evenly here so that they can oxidize and we can have some oxidized copper going forward in this series. I'm excited to start incorporating copper into a couple of builds for the kingdom. So I've never really done this before, but I think I'm going to bring you through the building process so that you can see how I think while I'm creating things. I don't really have any sort of like method or anything I can share with you, but I'm going to be looking for like a dungeon, cavernous cave sort of vibe here. And so as we go about doing that, I'll share with you my thought process. So the first thing that I'm thinking about doing is bone mealing some moss blocks. It's going to add that lush vibe that we want going on here, and I don't want it to interfere with the redstone, but we'll put it in other places just like the back corners here. I think that here and there we're going to put a couple of extra dripstone blocks just to give that extra cave vibe. It really matches well with the dirt here. And now that's looking pretty good, I think. This place is already looking a lot less dull, and I already see a couple fully grown wheat crops, which makes me a very happy man. I think that I want to hang these blocks with chains up on the ceiling here, and I think that we're going to cover them with trapdoors as well. I think some trapdoors up front will look good too. And maybe we'll also flip them up on the side right here too. That way at least the part that we access looks a little bit better. But I'm not going to do that across the entire thing right here because I just don't want to waste that much wood. Now, as for the rest of the build, I'm going to take a bunch of these spruce leaves right here, and I think that I'm going to make a little bit of like patches and that sort of thing on the ceiling. Just like there's little clusters of vines and whatnot. I think that these bush-like things spread across the entire cave right here will give us the vibe that we're looking for. I'm also going to remove these sand blocks right here, and we have a little bit of glass that just smelted. So let's crack on with getting these bushes in the cave time-lapse style. Make it good, editor slip. Also, I just realized that today is officially day 50 of this Let's Play. I'm happy with our progress thus far, but we still have plenty of work to do. Now let's start chunking away at this cave. You know, I'm pretty happy with how this one came out. You can see that the spruce leaves give a lot of extra detail and kind of color to the cave here. And I decided to spice things up a little bit with some dripstone here on the walls as well as on the ceilings. But our wheat still isn't fully grown, so I'm gonna hold off before pressing that fancy button down here. And there is still one major thing that we have to do in our to-do list before we get to the main build for the video. So I say that now is just about as good of a time as any to get started on it. I don't know how this guy got in here. It must be from one of my 100 days that I'm doing on my main channel. He actually fits in really well with this biome too, I think. So as we've discussed, we're going to be making a massive automatic wheat windmill right over in this area, right over here. But it would be nice to have a nice easy access way of getting to the windmill right from our house right here. So I'm thinking about making a bridge in this area right here. We'll take our materials that we have in this chest right here. We have a ton of wood, some campfires, some fences, some andesite and stone. I also collected a little bit more wool and dye yesterday. And of course it starts to rain while I'm recording this. But this bridge is probably going to look a little bit different from the one that we have over here. It would be cool to use the white, blue, and orange color palette once again, but I'm just going to go with wherever my creativity leads me. So let's crack on with this build. Now, this little starter area is really starting to come together. I really like the color accent that we have on the bridge behind us. The orange and blue really go well with the theme that we have over here, and I decided not to go with the canopy because I didn't want this to be too obtrusive with our mill coming right up on this hill. I want to be able to go to the top of the mill and be able to see the rest of the kingdom that we've made thus far. And if we walk across the bridge right here, it's really nice and open feeling, and I like how it leads into the rest of the kingdom. Which brings us down to the task of building that mill itself. But before we make that windmill, why don't we head over to our farm and see if everything's ready to go for a press of the button. And that is one good looking cave. And if we head on down and we press this button, the dispensers are going to dispense some water, knocking out the whole field of crops. And everything goes into the hoppers, we can open our chest, and that is just satisfying. From that one harvest, we got 134 wheat. Now that is what I'm talking about. So let's go and do some chores, eat a little bit of food because I definitely need some. And when we're all set and ready, we'll start making that awesome windmill over here. Come on. And there we have it. More diamonds. How many are we gonna get? Okay. I'll take a net total of 3. I guess we'll explore the cave a little bit more though. And a third vein. Let's get it. With 7 diamonds in hand, it's time for something special. Our first ever diamond pick in the series. You're gonna have to give me a name for it in the comments. We've had so many levels for so long that I just felt like we needed to have an enchanting setup, so I made a temporary one right here, and I also made us a diamond sword, so let's see what we can get. Sharpness 3, Fire Aspect 1. Could be better. I'm really hoping for Fortune 3. Just Unbreaking 3. Well, we'll take it for the moment. But now as the sun rises, it is time for what we've planned on doing this whole episode. Let's make ourselves a windmill. I'm currently digging out the path to the windmill, and right here there's this awesome cave, and I think that this is going to be where we put our nether portal. It'll be kind of sunken in the background, and even if you go back here, there's a cool little vine area which we could make like a little treasure spot or something like that. It is day 62 and we are finally ready to build the windmill. Now I am quite proud of that bridge that I made over here, but I'm not quite smart enough to make a windmill. So the design I'm going to be using is by Gold Robin. Thanks so much for letting me use it. A link to the tutorial will be found in the description below. But I say let's get cracking on this automatic wheat windmill.
right, so it's the middle of the night in day 83, and I would say that is one pretty good looking windmill that we have right over here. I really like how it came out. And you can see right here that we still have plenty of work to be done. I ran out of seeds, and so we're going to have to replenish the rest of this area, and I'm still considering whether or not I want to put fields over here, or if we want to put a different building over in this area. And you will notice if we head over in this direction that I've been hard at work, and so I might as well show you the story of the creation of that build right there. But as the moon sets in the distance and the sun starts to rise on the horizon, I think it's best for us to continue to work on these fields over here, as well as get interiors in both of these builds, and then we'll check up after that. And if you didn't get the memo by now, I do love me some replay mods, so we're gonna do that in my favorite fashion with a replay cinematic. Now this place is really starting to look like a kingdom. We've got this beautiful bridge which completely follows the color scheme that we have with the rest of the kingdom. And as you can see on this side of the river, both of our builds are completely finished and we have interiors for them both. In a later episode, we're going to do a ton of work on path building. I think it would be awesome to have stone paths and walls going across the entire kingdom to give that sort of industrial vibe. But if we head up here, we have tons of hay bales. We have a little bit that I missed, I guess, in terms of planting seeds. But if we head over here, we have a little path that comes from this house, which I'm not sure what the function is for it yet. You'll have to let me know what we should use this building for in the comments below. But as we head along the path, it winds around over on this way where we have tons of wheat fields all throughout the distance. And I love the feeling of having a massive wheat field. I think that this area over here will be a cool place to house a tower or something like that. I just want to make sure that it's tall enough so that we can see it from our stutter house behind us. And I know that we discussed putting our nether portal in this area right here, but I've actually got a better idea for it and we're going to wait for the next episode. If we come up here, we have a little bit more of a field that we still need to plant, but if we head into the house, you'll notice that we have a fully done interior. I mean, it is a little bit simple, but I do kind of like it that way. This place will probably hold a couple of miscellaneous items, kind of just odd end storage, and we have more storage up here off the ladder. And if we place our ladders back down, it heads all the way up to the top right here. We have more storage area, although there's not much of a view from up here. However, there is one more floor. We can head all the way to the top and we can see everything that we've made thus far from the top of this tower. And I gotta say, I really like how this kingdom is starting to turn out. But today's episode isn't about this building that we're standing on top of, it is about this beautiful windmill that we made. And as we make our way over to the windmill, you'll notice that we have some extra detail with some spruce trapdoors right here. And if we open the door, we have a fully done interior as well. Whenever I make interiors, I don't really have anything in mind. I kind of just go with whatever my creativity leads me. And I love all the different textures and patterns that we have in this building. On the left side right here, we have a ton of different storage, which is where we're going to house all of our wheat for the kingdom. If we jump on this hay bale and we head up the ladder, we do have another area over here that's been furnished. We can flip down our trapdoor, open this jungle door, and we have a little bit of a storage area right here, just in case we run out of storage down below. As the sun sets in the horizon, I think that at some point, we're going to put some sort of pirate ship or a galleon, some sort of naval ship in this area. I think it would look really cool. And we have a view of our entire kingdom just from the top of our windmill right here. We can't get all the way to the top, but I think that's more than okay with me. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the end for episode 2 of our survival kingdom. We did a ton of work in this episode. We're now finishing off on day 88 when we started this episode on day 20. Today, we'll be making a beautiful blacksmith's cottage. But before we get to that, we have some building to do.
Now that is one good looking sailboat. This fantastic sloop just sits on the water right here and completely matches the colors with the rest of the kingdom. There's actually no way for me to get inside this build, but I really do like how it sits, and we're gonna save this pond area for a later project. Because now we have an important task on our hands. You see, I've been thinking, and I think it would be an awesome idea to have a nether portal that would be nestled inside of this cave right here. And I don't think that we're going to go into the nether this episode, but I would like to be prepared for when we do. So in order to build ourselves such a massive nether portal, we're going to need to get a ton of obsidian, which I'm going to go and do real quick, and we'll chat more about the build later. Also, I did want to let you know that the Wandering Trader did end up showing up, and if we come over here, you can see that he hooked us up with some acacia saplings, which is a huge win in terms of having more types of wood to build with. But now let's go and get some obsidian. We've stumbled into a spawner right here. This is huge for the game plan. You see, our main ways of getting XP right now are by farming wheat for trades or by killing cows for XP. And to be honest, that's not really doing us any good. So we're gonna end up making an XP farm as soon as possible, maybe even in this episode. And there we have it, our first ever Cave Spider XP spawner. If we head over here and we take out our sword, we can slay at these spiders, as you can see right here, and it's going to give us XP along with spider eyes and string. And as you can tell, we get a ton of XP from that. So I think that we should quickly use this spider XP spawner and then get ourselves a fortune enchantment on our pickaxe so that we can knuckle down and mine up all the ores that we've gathered. With 35 levels to our name, it is going to be Fortune 2 or bust. You see, we've also been mining, and if we open this barrel right here, we have a ton of different ores, especially some iron ore, that we want to fortune down. So let's put some lapis in the enchanting table, and hopefully we can get lucky today. I think that we're going to take a risk right here and see if we can get fortune along with efficiency 4 on this pickaxe. Oh, just efficiency 4. Unfortunately, no luck, so we're gonna have to head back to the XP farm. Finally! As you can see in my hotbar right here, we have been doing a lot of enchanting in order to get this fortune pickaxe. And as you can see right here, it's only fortune 2, but it's now day 128, and I feel like I need to do some building. So let's quickly fortune up all the ores that we mined, and then we can get to work on the nether portal. Now that is one whole boatload of ores, if you don't mind the pun, and you'll notice that I'll be rocking no armor from now on. I have a mod that makes it look invisible, and I really like how the skin looks, so I think that we're going to show it off. So we have just over a stack of iron, just over a stack of coal, half a stack of lapis, and a whole ton of copper. This will be more than enough ores to get us started for the farms that we're going to make in the episode. And part of the reason that we had to make all those ores was because I had already gathered all that iron, but I have all these mine carts right here because I completely messed up and crafted the wrong thing. But we'll take a couple of these lava buckets, get to smelting some copper, and tomorrow we start a building.
2 hours later.
I decided to do some mining to wait for the next day, and look what we have right here. It looks like we're gonna fortune some diamonds. And a net total of 4, that's huge for the game plan. And we're gonna keep on looking too. And a spawner. Let's see what we have in here. Some golden horse armor, a little bit of gunpowder, a music disc, we're gonna have to listen to that later, and a saddle, that's a huge find. However, we're looking for lava pools, and we haven't been successful in finding any yet. We found one lava source, but we need a whole pool. I found a mine shaft, and look what we have right here, a golden apple. Today just keeps on getting better.
After hours and hours of getting sidetracked, it is finally time to do our nether portal. And although last episode we ended up talking about putting our windmill down in the cave over here, I think it would be super awesome to have it in this ginormous cave. And so if you head over in this direction, you'll see that I have a little bit of a safety railing ready for us. And if we head over past this lava pit, you'll see that I've already dug out the area where our portal is going to be, and man, this is going to be big. But we have 2 stacks of obsidian, so hopefully that should be enough. And we'll use the rest of these blocks over here to give some extra texture to the cave. And I really can't wait to see how this ends up turning out. So I say that let's take out this obsidian and get to work on building this cave. Now, this has to be one of the best builds that I've ever made. I wasn't sure if I wanted to add in stone brick stairs, but I really like how it came out. And the vines completely make this into a lush, overgrown cave sort of vibe. And I think that it looks absolutely perfect. We can head in through our gateway right here, and we're going to be met with a fully done interior for the build. The back end of this portal room has a ton of copper blocks, which look really nicely, and I know that they'll look even cooler as time goes on. I'm not really sure what I want to do with this area yet. We'll probably have a bunch of nether storage and whatnot, but we're not going to the nether this episode, so it's a problem for future Slip. So we're gonna head to our enchanting station and see what we can get. After doing a little bit of enchanting, including getting Feather Falling 1 on a book, I think that I'm gonna enchant another book with Sweeping Edge 3. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a farm to make. So the first of the farms that we're gonna be making today is gonna be a lava farm. And you'll notice that I already have an outline of what I'm gonna be building over here. I'm not exactly sure what it's gonna look like, but we'll be building a tower. But a lava farm is actually pretty easy to make. We're going to start off with a 3x3 of cauldrons. We'll put a dirt block on the middle one, and then we'll hop on top of it and proceed to make another 9x9. And then we'll punch out the one in the middle. We'll take our favorite trapdoor, mine is spruce, and we're going to outline the outer edge. And then we'll flip down all the spruce trapdoors. I always think this is so satisfying. Once we have that, we're going to head over to our chests, grab 9 buckets of lava before taking out all the dirt, and placing a bucket of lava on every spot. It's important to have a bucket of lava on every spot so that the farm will work. Once your 9x9 container is full of lava just like this, you're good to go. So we'll head back into our chest, we'll grab ourselves some pointed dripstone, take out this dirt block right here, and place a pointed dripstone on every single block. And by no time, we'll have an unlimited lava farm so that we can do infinite smelting. And before we go into making this build, there's just one more thing that I want to tell you. You see, it took us a long time to get the 9 buckets of lava that we needed for the lava farm. And while we were exploring, I think that we came across 9 diamonds, giving us a full total of 11 right here, which is a huge win. We've also fully recycled our first set of iron armor aside from the helmet piece. It's next to our first ever shield, and eventually my plan is to make a massive museum for everything that we've had first in the series. And of course our first diamond pick is going to go into there, but if you have any ideas about what else we should put in the museum, definitely let me know. But we're going to head on back to our lava farm because we have some building to do, and I have no idea what this tower is going to look like, but I sure can't wait to find out. And our lava tower is complete. As we head up the hill, I think that this tower is perfectly nestled with the rest of the village, and I couldn't be happier with how it came out. I think that Minecraft would just get boring for me if I didn't try my best every once in a while to take whatever materials I had and make a beautiful build. And as you can see, this building does have an interior. We went with a dark theme with the deep slate and the smooth basalt on the floor, and I love how the lava illuminates the smithing table back here. We're still gonna have to put some books in the bookshelves, and these chests over here are just for decoration.
But now, whenever we need to go smelting, I'll have this beautiful memory of the build that we've made. You'll also notice that I've done a ton of terraforming and path building in this area, and it extends throughout the entire kingdom, all the way over to the mill, and then even over to our cherry blossom forest in the distance. We can head along our new path over here, which will make even prettier at a later time. And at the top of this hill right here, we have a little drop chute that goes down to our XP spawner. So I say let's put a trapdoor on top of it to make it a little bit more secret, and we can head on down. And we pop up right here with a little arrow going to the right, which tells me which direction to go. You'll notice that I've made a tiny interior in this room. If we open up this trapdoor, you'll notice that the spawner is on, and so we are ready to get some XP. But we have a ton of ores with buttons on the walls, some pointed dripstone to give some extra texture, and a door that leads down to the XP room. We can head down this ladder, and I really haven't done anything with this area because it's much more for farming than it is for looking. I don't have a sword on me at the moment, but we can take out our axe and we slay at the spiders and we'll get tons of XP. And I've already been doing this a good amount, so if we open up these chests, you'll notice that I already have a ton of string. But I think that we're going to stay underground a little bit longer. We need a little bit more ores for our next farm. And so once we found the location of where we're going to put that farm, I'll check in with you and we'll talk more about what I'm going to make. So we've cleared out a little area in the cherry grove, and this location is where we're going to make an iron farm. It looks like right underneath us is a massive lush cave, so we'll have to explore this area in the future. And you can see our sloop in the distance as we walk along the pathway back home to the kingdom. And this pathway actually leads right to the spider spawner right here. I really don't like the look of iron farms, so I figured that this area was nice but further away. And if we head over here, you will notice that we have a new friend. I figured that she would make it much easier to get to and fro in the kingdom, and you're gonna have to let me know what we should call her in the comments below. So I figure let's just start getting to work on this farm. We're gonna be following a Waddles tutorial, and I'll check in with you after this awesome replay cinematic. When I say that I have a love-hate relationship with iron farms, I mean it. As you can see, the iron farm is complete, but if we zoom in, you'll notice that there's no zombie. And I've put a zombie in that iron farm on 2 separate occasions now. You see, both of the zombies ended up burning in the sun, which is frustrating because I name tagged the second one. And if we do come in here, you'll notice that we already have plenty of iron. So we are going to move on to build our blacksmith's cabin. And at a later point in time, I'm going to have to come back and figure out why these zombies keep burning. But besides our iron farm, we actually do have a little bit of an AFK chamber. We can see it right over here, and it's kind of quaint looking. We can press the button to go inside, and eventually, when everything's working, I can just stand here and hoard a whole stack of iron. And I did want to mention, I am playing this on Christmas Day, and we have all the Christmas present gifts right here. And I've already cleared everything out, but I really do love the vibe. A happy holidays to everyone, no matter what you celebrate. But we're gonna go and get some materials, find a spot where we want to build, and when everything's ready to go, we'll check in before building our blacksmith. So I say let's get back to work.
materials have been collected, and I've gotten around to choosing a spot to house our blacksmiths. But first, you may notice that I have diamonds in hand, so we're gonna head over to the enchanting area, craft ourselves a chest piece, and make this hardcore playthrough a little bit safer. It feels good to have diamonds, and with protection 3 on the enchanting table, let's see what we get. Protection 3. Protection 3 is good enough for me, but if we hop on over in this direction, we'll stumble across where we're gonna place this next build. Right over here next to the villager breeder that I super need to fix up next episode. On the hillside over here, we're gonna place our blacksmith, but I'm not gonna build a blacksmith right on top of the hill. I think we'll save that spot for something bigger later on. But we have a ton of terraforming to do because we're gonna nestle it in right over here next to the trees. So as always, let's do that cinematic style. And as the sun sets in the distance, I would say that I'm pretty proud with myself. I think that for the most part, this area that I caved out does look natural and well suited to the environment. But now after plenty of work, we have tons of materials in hand, and it is time to finally start building that blacksmith. Make the cinematic good, editor slip. Now that is one cool looking blacksmith. Standing here, you'll notice that we have a wonderful view of the kingdom. And if you have any ideas about what to do with this villager breeder box down here, I would love to know what to do with them. And I did almost forget to mention, this build is heavily inspired by Neat Crafts. He has a tutorial for a medieval building that looks very similar to this, and I took a lot of the architectural design tips that he had and decided to go with my own color palette. But now that we have a build completed, it's time to fit this blacksmith in with its environment. I think that I'm going to make some sort of stone brick path that winds around this way and ends at the stairs leading up to the blacksmith. We'll also have some farms throughout the area and smoothing out this cliffside leading down to the path. Decorating and adding accents to a build is probably my favorite part about playing Minecraft, and this area sure has plenty of potential, so I say let's get to work and start decorating. I think I've really outdone myself on this one. Our blacksmith's cabin has 3 fields. We have our sweet berry patch over here, a sprawling wheat field that overlooks the rest of the kingdom, as well as this cobblestone box right here. And if we head over this way, I also have a potato field, which in my opinion looks really nice next to the blacksmith's cabin. And I also made sure to do interiors. We have our little farming area just in case we need a little extra wheat. I think that the first floor is accented really nicely with a bunch of spruce trees and a ton of bookshelves. We can head up the ladder to pop up to the first floor, where I've left the entrance kind of simple, and I really do like it that way. The entrance from the stairs has a great look at the rest of the kingdom, and I'm quite proud of everything that I've accomplished in the last 233 days. We can head into the main floor, which is kind of sparsely furnished. This is the blacksmith, so we have 3 smithing tables over here, and I was gonna put a toolsmith in this building, but I actually have better plans, and we're gonna have to hold off for the next episode. We have a couple of framed items and paintings in this area, as well as a little bit of extra storage. This area right over here is supposed to be a ladder, but I have a water chute when I was building, and I do kind of like it, so I think I might as well keep it. But we can head up here, and we arrived at the 3rd floor, and I think that this is my favorite floor. We have a ton of banners on the ceiling over here, lots of window space to overlook the rest of the kingdom, and if we head through this doorway, we have a puny little room, which I think I'll use to do some meditation. If we head out through this door, we have a bit of a balcony on the second floor, and gosh, I'm really starting to feel proud of myself. As we head down the stone path and the sun sets over here, I'm afraid that we've run out of time for this episode. If you've gotten this far and you're still lurking around here, please do consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel a whole ton. And since I'm so proud of this build and the phantoms are coming, I'm gonna leave us with one final cinematic of the kingdom.
Today we'll be building Minecraft's best villager trading ship. But before we do that, it's time that we get suited up.
39 diamonds and 45 levels to our name. I think it's time for some enchanting. We'll start off with crafting our first pair of diamond leggings, accompanied by a pair of boots and a diamond helmet. Okay, a Crimson Forest and even a secure shelter. That works for me. I am going to make the portal extra secure just in case. Now, I think it's important that we get one of these real quick, because placing down a warped fungus will scare away the hoglins. But I say from here, we just do the old Scumpus trick, where we put down a block and a torch on top of it so that we can get back to our nether portal. We'll close the door so that we know where we're going. Maybe make it look a little bit more aesthetic as well. And whatever this is, we'll have to do. But we're gonna Scumpus our way through this nether, and if we find anything interesting, I'll be sure to let you know. But for right now, we're gonna continue on cinematic style. Definitely never done this one before. Let's hope it all goes well. And it looks like we found a warped forest over here. And it looks like a fortress has been found, although I definitely don't like the location here. Now let's see what this nether fortress holds. Alright, here we go. I hear the blazes above me. I'm kind of trying to dig myself out of tunnel so that I can get to the blazes. And hopefully now we have a miniature little XP chamber. And our first blaze rod, we got it. And some nether ore, exactly what we were looking for. And with 10 blaze rods in hand, we are off to the warped forest. And look at that, it's right there. And as I see that cobblestone, I would say that this is a mission well complete. Thank you, my good friend Billy Bob. Now we're gonna head back to the surface and we'll check in there. And we have solidly reached the mid-game. As you see in my toolbar, we've acquired 20 ender pearls, 20 nether wart, and 12 blaze rods. And I sure am happy that I won't be having to return to the nether anytime soon. But now that we're fully geared up, we can turn our attention over to this area right here. You see, ever since I decided to make this place our kingdom, I've known that this area over here has had a ton of potential. And I'm not going to tell you what we're going to be making over in this area yet, but I will tell you that it's going to start with tearing down our sugarcane gazebo. So let's go do that real quick and find a new spot to house it.
And as discussed, our plan is to build a beautiful villager trading ship over in this area over here. And I absolutely can't wait to start on this project, but we still have plenty of things to do ahead of us. Well, as always, I got carried away when clearing out the cave, and I ended up going with some weird design, but I actually really like how it came out. We made sure to use tons of the warped wood and other nether blocks that we just found in our adventure, and I think that underground is a perfect place to house this color palette. Our new sugarcane cave actually overlooks the automatic wheat farm that we have over here, and you may notice that it's not actually wheat, it is now potatoes, and they're looking ready for harvest, so we might as well do that. I love seeing all the potatoes fly down into the hoppers. I've actually been using this area a ton off camera. If we hop into the chest, you'll notice that we have a full double chest of seeds, and over here we have half a double chest of wheat. We'll hop down into this double chest, and we do have a decent amount of potatoes, and so I'll use these to harvest the field real quick. I say let's do it with a shake transition. Bada boom! The incredible magic of a shake transition. So since we are officially at the mid game, we're gonna have this cave and house an automatic sugarcane farm here, and I'll explain how it works after, but I'm gonna do this cinematic style. We're gonna be following a tutorial by an awesome Minecrafter by the name of Duty Boy, and Duty Boy makes some awesome content. I super recommend going to check out their channel. As always, the tutorial will be linked in the description below, so I say let's knuckle down and get this sugarcane farm completed.
A new place, a new home for a while.
Now that is one swanky looking sugarcane farm. This is my first time experimenting with the color palette like this, and I'm actually really happy with how it came out. We're kind of matching the blue, orange, and white theme that we have going up in the overworld, and if we head along the back end right here, we actually have a fantastic view of our cave, which actually happens to be a slime chunk. You could say that I'm pretty happy with the location that I chose. So the idea behind this farm is I put down this minecart right here and I start pushing it, and it'll spin around and around, and up here we have a ton of observers. Once the sugarcane ends up getting to the height that it needs to be, all of these pistons are going to push out the sugarcane, and the minecart will pick it up to deposit it into these chests. And now that we don't have to worry about harvesting sugarcane ever again, it's time to move on to bigger and better things. And by bigger plans, I mean transforming this entire lake area into a wonderful fishing dock. I think that the dock is going to come around this entire area over here, and I really have no plans in mind for exactly how it's going to look, but that's more than okay with me because I'm super excited to see how it's going to turn out. We are going to have to fix up this animal pen area over here, but that's a problem for future Slip. We're of course going to do this cinematic style, so I'm going to hop in the lake, and when that happens, we're going to start on with this incredible build. And Cowabunga! Now, talk about a beautiful sunset here at the Survival Kingdom. I really am so proud of everything that I've accomplished thus far. However, it is about to get dark, so we're gonna place down our bed when we can, and we'll talk about what we've worked on in the morning. And top of the morning to you. So we ended up digging out a ton of area over here with our shovel, and I think that the extra spaciousness is really gonna work out for the fishing area. I do think that at some point I wanna have some sort of awesome bridge coming from this peak right here across the river over to this area, but I think that's gonna be a problem for another episode. And as we walk around the kingdom right here, you may notice that there's a couple of differences that I've made to the channel. The first of which is my shaders, and the second of which is the audio settings. You see, I've received a couple of comments from people saying that when I move my screen just like this on the edge of the screens when they're watching, it's super blurry, which I know totally takes away from the point of the video. And since it is 2024, I can't wait to start this channel off with a fresh start. We've accomplished a whole ton for our first year on YouTube, and I have a bunch of content already planned and coming your way soon. However, if you have gotten this far in the video, please do let me know, are these settings a little bit better? Can you hear me better? Can you see the video a little bit better? If everything does look better, I think we are going to continue to use these settings. These are BSL shaders, and I think that they look wonderful. I really did love the complementary reimagined shaders that I was using earlier, but they may just be too demanding on my computer. However, this area still needs a ton more work, so we're going to get crack-a-lackin' on it. I'm really excited to have this whole starter area kind of detailed and filled out, and of course, we're going to do it cinematic style. So make it good, Editor Slip. For those of you that are wondering, that took an hour and a half. However, I think that it was worth every second. We can look out at the new lake area, which has 3 different docks right here, and I think that the 3 of them intertwined with one another, mixed with our new blacksmith over here, looks absolutely fantastic. I knew that with just a little bit of polishing, this area would look incredible. And it totally does. And we do still have all of our animals over here, and that's going to be part of our project for the next episode. But that's just a side quest. We're going to have a ton going on for episode 5 of the Hardcore Kingdom. Also, I did want to mention that I ended up streaming last night, which was a total blast. And one of our viewers named Break the Net ended up naming our horse right here. We're going to call her Eclipse. And so as we head into our starter house, you will notice that my diamond pick is just about broken, so it's gonna go in this chest right here with all of our first equipment. I'm always gonna look at that diamond pick with fond memories. However, it is time for a new diamond pick, so we'll head into the enchanting cave, pop open this chest, and get this diamond pickaxe that we've been waiting on using. We'll put some lapis in our enchanting table and see what we get as an enchantment on this pick. Efficiency 3 and just efficiency 3. That's okay, it still works for me. But once again, I really am so happy with how this kingdom is starting to come out. Look at this view line that we have of the blacksmiths right next to our lava farm. And then if we head over here, we have this really cool looking fisherman dock sort of gazebo sort of thing. And if we head along this path over here, we lead to another dock that has our sailboat. There's another dock that you can see right behind me over there. We can see that this dock is nice and cozy and once again has a great look at the rest of the kingdom. I did do some extra terraforming right here just to make sure that we can get some boats through here when we want to go exploring in this direction. And I also did smoothen out this area right here, and you can see that we have some chests right on the top of the hill because our next task is going to be to make a bridge so we can get from point A over there to point B over here. And I really do love the arches that we have on that bridge over there. We might go with the same color palette, but I think I'm going to make this bridge just a little bit different. I have no idea what it's going to look like, but I'm really enjoying the building that we've done thus far in this episode. So let's get crack-a-lackin' on another build. A couple of hours later, and I'm really liking the finished product. As you can see over here, we have a path that leads down to this bridge, and I really do like the texture that we have on it. We can hop on Eclipse to get a better look, and as we head over here, you can see in full detail what this bridge really looks like. As we walk along the stairs right here, you can see that the stone buttons give that extra bit of detail. And if we hop on along down here, you'll notice that we have a whole ton of wheat fields in this direction, and it actually spreads out across the entire bridge area over here. But in theory, we can boat away from our starter area over here and then pass along under this bridge, which has its arches, and I really do like how it came out. It kind of gives me like a German World War II bridge sort of vibe. If you agree with that, let me know in the comments. And I gotta say, I really do love sunsets here at the Survival Kingdom, but we might as well place down our sleeping bag and get ourselves a quick rest. And on day 295 of the Survival Kingdom, I want to show you what we're going to work on quickly before we start our main project. You see, I am a huge fan of the bridge that we have behind us, but we still do have some extra work to do in order to get over to this area where the blacksmith is. I might end up putting like a lake or some extra farms in this area right next to me, but if we head in this direction, you're actually going to notice that there is still a gap that we have down here, and I definitely need to get it fixed up. I already have a ton of ideas for what we're going to be doing for episode 5, and so as much as I want to build our villager trading ship right now, I know it's super important that we get this fixed up for function and kind of just for aesthetic in the kingdom. But I gotta say, these projects are taking up a ton of wood. We're definitely going to have to go and resupply before we end up making that ship over in this direction. So I'm going to get back to work, and we're going to take a good look at how we make this bridge cinematic style. Now, this whole bridge area has come out wonderfully. We ended up going along with the same theme that we had for the first bridge. We have the spruce buttons on the side along with the stripped oak, and I'm really loving that mix of a World War II and medieval vibe. If we head along the side by the sailboat right here, it really all does come together. We have the first bridge over there, and then everything winds along this pathway. And if we continue along this pathway, we come across our blacksmith as well as the last side quest for the episode. Now I know that this is starting to become a big video, but I did say in the last episode that I was going to get this villager breeder fixed up. We're going to keep this minecart railing here. As you can see, our transportation system is already set up, and if we punch out this block right here, we can get the villagers into the minecart and then send them to wherever we want to in the kingdom. So we're going to expand on this area and of course make it look a lot prettier. I've already gone and collected some wood. You can see that we have it in here. In this chest we have a bunch of stone materials as well as some glass, and in this chest right here we just have some dirt and coarse dirt. And I haven't planned this build at all, so we're gonna take those materials and do whatever we can to make this place look even better. But gosh, the views around the kingdom are really starting to come together pretty much everywhere that you look. So let's keep on adding on to the kingdom. It is now day 301 in this world, and I'll let you know what day it is when we finish with this awesome cinematic. Now, as we progress in the survival kingdom, I continue to impress myself with these builds. This villager breeder has become the perfect place to transport all of our villagers throughout the kingdom. And even better, it looks mighty swanky too. From far away, this door does look like an actual door, but it is actually just a series of trapdoors. You see, I don't want our villagers getting out of here, so we actually do have a secret entrance over on this side. We can pass these sweetberry bushes, and you can see a glass block that leads into the villager holding chamber. And there happens to be an iron golem there too, and I'm not exactly sure why, but he's not really bothering me at the moment, so I'm gonna let him be. And you'll notice that on the walls right here, we have a little bit of odd end storage, but we don't actually have anything in here. But in my opinion, barrels and crafting tables always look good for decoration. We'll head on over to the back where you'll notice that I've made a couple of other crop fields right here. We have some potatoes down front, and then we also have some carrots and then some wheat and a little bit of beetroot over on the left side. And I think that it looks really good in comparison to the perfect wheat field that we have over here next to the blacksmith. And if we crouch down here, you'll notice that we actually have another ravine which may be worth exploring at some point. However, that's going to be a plan for another episode. For today, as we discussed, we are going to be making Minecraft's best villager trading hall, and we'll be doing it aquatic style. You'll notice that we have a little bit of a dirt box, and this dirt box is going to be the area where we hold our ship. The ship that we're going to be making is called a caravel. I'm hoping that Future Slip remembers to pop an image up on screen. Let me know if he did in the comments below. And the caravel was actually a 15th century Portuguese developed ship. It was super important during the Age of Exploration, the time when Columbus found the New World, and I want our kingdom to have that vibe of exploration. So I think that an awesome ship leading out to the ocean would be a perfect idea to put right here. And I do want to mention the original ship design is by Lord Docker. He's a totally awesome shipbuilder, and this is actually the second design that I've used from him. The first one being the sloop that I made in episode 3. So the game plan is going to be to edge out this space a little bit over here so that we have a little bit more space to hold the ship, and then we're going to build the whole of the ship. I would normally just build the whole thing, but the thing is, my ship design actually has barrels in it, and since this is going to be a villager trading hall, I think it's a bad idea to have the barrels at first when we're going to be transporting the villagers in there. I do just want to say that that bit of terraforming took me about an hour and a half. We are now on day 325, but I did just overlook the replay cinematic that you all just saw, and I think that it was totally worth it. As we've discussed, this is going to be quite a big ship, so I think it's important to have this area thinned out in order to give more realism to the environment. I don't really mind terraforming anyway. I kind of just put on other Minecraft YouTube videos and get to work and kind of zone out. And the ordeal was definitely worth it. If we hop in here, we can see that we have a double chest full of plenty of materials that we'll be able to to use for future builds. But now, it is finally time to dig into this double chest right here and start using these materials so that we can build the whole of this ship. So let's start crack-a-lackin'. And with the whole of the ship complete, I must say this is becoming one of the most technical builds that I've ever made. But that being said, I'm really liking how it's coming out. You can see that we have a mixture of wood types here, we have some jungle logs along with some acacia slabs, and then some spruce and oak. And then this area right here where the sailors will be climbing to the top of the ship, maybe to the lookout's perch or something like that, we have a bunch of birch fences. And my one piece of advice to you, if you are planning on making a ship like this, is to clear out the ocean and to make yourself a box to work with like this. I feel like working in the water is so annoying, and so having some land to work around is super helpful. And as the moon starts to come up right here, you will notice that we do have a couple of oak logs that are unstripped, and that's because that's where a couple of workstation blocks are gonna go. But as we've discussed, we're gonna have to get the villagers in from all the way over there first, so we can flip down this spruce trapdoor. And you'll notice that we have a somewhat spacious inside, and I think that my plan here is gonna be to take some more trapdoors, and we're gonna stack them kind of like this. And if we keep layering them up, we should be able to fit a villager and a workstation block in here just like that. And so we'll have a couple of boxes like this, and we'll flip down the trapdoor and we'll be able to trade with whatever villagers we have. So I'm going to make this a couple of more times. I'll place down scaffolding as kind of like a temporary workstation block, and I do actually think we're going to go one higher. And I think that our captain's lounge is going to have 2 villagers in here, and we'll place down beds for them. In that way, if anything bad ever happens to the villagers in here, we'll be able to breed 2 up in here. And so I'll put some stairs here, and then we'll put a jungle door right here, and we'll fix up this slab space eventually, but I think it's going to look awesome in here. And so we'll end up having 1, 2, 3, and of 4 villagers in this area right here. And I think it might actually be possible to have 2 more villagers right here. We can crouch underneath the slab with the stairs, and then we can have 2 more workstation blocks. And the idea would be to put more spruce trapdoors right here to block in the villagers, and whenever I need to access them, I can just trade with them right here. And I gotta say, I think this actually looks really cool. The plan is gonna be to have a blacksmith and an armorer station right here. In this place right here, we'll have a farmer, we'll have another farmer in this place right here, and then right here, we'll have 2 librarians. And eventually, one will ensure that we can get ourselves a mending book, but that will be a problem for another day or at least in between episodes. For now comes the difficulty of getting these villagers in the ship, and I must say I'm really not looking forward to it. And so we'll hop on Eclipse and head back to the starter home real quick, go read some books, and then we can hop into this barrel where you'll notice that we already have so many railings and redstone torches. And so now we head over to the villager breeder once again. And so I'm gonna break this railing down right here, and then we're gonna start to curve around this direction. So I'm gonna continue to place down these rails. I think that this is actually gonna be quite the distance. And so when we're done with that and we're ready to get these villagers into this beautiful ship, I'll check in with you then, and we'll go through the annoying villager transportation process together. Well, guess who ran out of railways? Yeah, your boy slipped. So we're gonna have to try to see if we have any more iron. I do have a ton of powered rails, so that might actually make us all the way over to the boat right here. But I also think that having some extra rails on hand couldn't hurt. It is also worth mentioning, I did make a little bit of like a cactus farm right here. I figured it might be a good idea to have this start growing while we were working on the ship. And I must say, I have been enjoying this building experience. Oftentimes, when I'm playing and recording replay cinematics, I watch other Minecraft hardcore YouTubers. And I just wanted to shout out 2 small hardcore YouTubers that I think deserve some extra recognition. The first goes by the name of Schwepp. He's a super funny guy, he's got a great sense of humor, and I think that he makes awesome content. And the second underrated YouTuber that I did want to mention goes by the name of Yogi Man. I think that he has a style of video editing and commentary that's just a bit similar to mine. And so, if you like any of the content that I make, he is a wonderful other option to look at too. I'll leave the channel links for both of these creators down in the description below. And for now, we'll head back to the starter base to see if we have any more iron. Since our iron farm is broken at the moment, I really don't want to have to fix it. That's kind of a plan for between episodes, so I'm really hoping that we get lucky right now. And of course it starts to rain. It seems to do that a lot in this world, but I really do like the look of the railing. It goes across the bridge all the way over to the villager breeder. Now let's head inside our episode 1 starter base, and hopefully I'll find a little bit of iron. And it looks like we do have some. I think that I'll take 28 right now. We'll head into our wood chest and we'll grab a ton of sticks, and then we'll get crafting a boatload of railings. And I'm hoping that a stack of 64 should be enough. So I'm gonna go and continue this railing off camera. So we are back at the villager breeder, and everything is good to go. I've already test run it once, but we head up here. This is our lava farm. We'll continue along the back side of the kingdom, right next to our windmill, along with this cool other building that I made in episode 3. And then we head along the bridge through our tree chop and acacia forest. I think it's really cozy as we come through here, and then we'll emerge over to our boat. We can head along this mini bridge, and then we land in the boat. Not too shabby, I would say. So there's only one thing left to do, and that is to actually do it. We can place down the rails once again, and we'll head back over to the villager breeder. And on the way, I'm gonna make a quick pit stop to the starter house. We're gonna make a boatload of bread for the villagers, because I'm gonna want to keep this place breeding as we do our villager transport. We can quickly head inside, and thank you for being here, dear protector. We'll break open this glass block, we'll replace it later, and then we can toss a ton of food into the villager breeder. And hopefully they'll keep on breeding. I'm gonna replace this with the trapdoor at the moment, and we'll place down our minecart, take out this path right here, and then eventually a villager will come down from our inside right here. And there we have it. They instantly get into the minecart. We can give them just a little bit of a push, and then we'll meet them at the boat. I mean, talk about seamless. And let's hope that it's just as seamless as we do it in the boat too. And it looks like we have mission success. So we'll block the villager in, we'll take out the minecart, and then Brianna's gonna choose hopefully some sort of trade. But for now, I think that the best thing for me to do is to get all the villagers into their holding cells. So I'm gonna go and do that real quick, and then we'll check in when everyone's good to go. Now that turned out a lot easier than I expected. You can see that the ship is officially in the water, and I can't wait to have a name for it. Once again, please do let me know in the comments below. But we can hop into the drink, say hello to a little fishy friend, and then on the other side here we have a ladder which we can head up and then head down through the spruce trapdoor. And as you can hear, we have villagers. We have our toolsmith and our armorer here. We have a farmer here, and another farmer here. I haven't yet gotten the librarians, but I think that I'm gonna do that at another time. I think that it's gonna be easy to do. All we have to do is breed up these two villagers here. And so we'll place down a grindstone here, and we can remove these blocks to put in composters. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to switch up the type of wood that we have for the fences behind me. You see, although I collected birch saplings, I ended up forgetting to retrieve some after chopping wood. So we'll have to go on a whole new adventure to get birch wood. And I'm not sure which wood type we're gonna use for the railing right here, but we'll figure it out. But now it is time for the part that I am most excited for, actually putting the sails on the ship. We're gonna finish up this villager trading hall caravel in style. Make it good, editor slip. Now talk about a beautiful ship. I think that it came out absolutely perfect. However, a mishap happened to occur during the build. As you can see behind me, we have two villagers outside of the boat, and I'm really not sure how they got out. We're gonna have to get them back into the boat at some point, but now is not going to be that time because we are gonna be out of time for this episode. If you did enjoy, please do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next episode. A megachurch is a massively intimidating build. It takes lots of time to gather resources, prepare the area, even to detail the build. So why build a megachurch? Well, we'll find out later. For now, what I do know is that we're gonna need a pair of wings. So let's head off to find the stronghold.
Now we can consider that a mission success. We can quickly head back to the stronghold when we want to, although we're probably going to want some better armor for the end fight. However, it's only day 397, and we're going to wait until day 495 until we fight the end dragon, though we still have plenty of work to do here at the kingdom. As a matter of fact, I've been busy between cuts. I'm sure that surprises none of you, so we can head on over to the blacksmith's cabin, and I'll show you what we've been up to over here. And man, I love the way that this entire path came out. The end goal here at the kingdom is to have tons of different paths leading to lots of different towns and cities and all that sort of stuff, which does remind me we do need a name for the kingdom. And I'm gonna leave that one to you. If you have any ideas about what we should name our beautiful kingdom over here in the distance, please do let me know in the comments. But our path makes its way all the way from our kingdom, leading in this direction towards a new project that we're gonna be starting in the next 500 days, as long as I can live to see day 500, that is. And of course, we had to put some extra detail on the bridges here. If we pop on down, you can see that we have a couple arches, and putting on those extra details really does make a place worth coming back to. We can continue along the path where we have a little bit of a cave inlet, where I've put a campfire to light down the way, but we have a ton of space over here, so hopefully we can use this space later for some diamond hunting. We have a little bit of a stairway right here that I've accented with spruce trapdoors, and it gives us a little bit of an ease of access along the cliffway. And you'll notice that we have lampposts here, but we don't have any lanterns yet. And that is because I still have to fix the iron farm. But once again, that is a problem for future Slip, and our path leads all the way down into the forest, and quite a ways past, honestly. But I'm not going to show you it all because that's going to be a future project. You see, I have big plans for the kingdom, and we're not always going to stay in this kingdom over here forever. So there's going to be a ton more going on in this area behind me, but I don't want to talk about it now. What I do want to do is show you the awesome cinematic that we have for this build. Make it good, Editor Slip. And I gotta say, the longer that I survive in this hardcore world, the better that I get at building. This build is my own design and involves no planning whatsoever. And even better, it took me a third less of the time than it took me to build the path. As always, I've gotten around to doing interiors. We can head inside this 2-floor cottage, which is cozy and quaint feeling, and which has storage on the walls on both sides, which I'm sure we'll be using later on. We can head upstairs, and you'll notice that we have more of an attic, which houses plenty of extra space for storage. And if we head outside, of course, you'll notice that we have a ton of crops decorating the entire exterior, which is clearly something that I like to do in order to give an area a little bit more flair. And so with the cottage complete, we can consider ourselves set up for the second season, or I guess the second chapter of the third season. And it may seem crazy, but that's not all that I've been up to in between cuts. Your boy Slip has been a busy man here at the kingdom, so let's take a look at the next build of the kingdom. Now I think that every good kingdom needs lots of towers, so don't flame me for putting another one in. And I absolutely love this tower design. It's by It's Marlowe. We've already built one in the kingdom over there, and based on how good this looks, you can't blame me for putting in another one. We can head inside here, head up the ladder, and we're met with a brilliant look at the kingdom. I'll take off the toolbar and let's just take a look at everything that we've done thus far. And as the sun sets, you'll notice in the distance over by the caravel, we still have one more build to talk about. And I think that it might be my favorite out of the 3 builds that we've made thus far. So make the cinematic good, Editor Slip.
I think that every great ship should be nestled in with a cozy seaside cottage. Well, I mean, not always, but I think that this was exactly what this area needed. This cottage overlooks the river along with our caravel, which we're gonna give a name. However, I'm recording episode 5 before episode 4 has released, and although I asked for a name for the caravel in the comments, we understandably still haven't received any. So although I don't know the name of the caravel yet, I'm gonna flash it up on screen right now. And gosh, I know that it's gonna be a really good name, and so you'll notice that we have a little dock that heads right over to the caravel. And I really love the detail in this cottage. We have tons of pots with plants, and it fits in perfectly right next to our watermelon patch right here. And for those of you that are wondering why there's glass over here, I'm afraid that you're gonna have to find out for yourself. I plan on releasing a world download of this world every 500 days, and so if you want to take an in-person look of everything that I've accomplished thus far, along with all the small details that I've left out of the videos, you'll be able to find it by joining my Discord, which will be linked in the description below. And when that world download is ready, I'll be sure to let you know in the Discord. But we do have an interior in this cottage. We have some more pots and plants, and I think that the banners on the walls right here really give a nice warm atmosphere. This is a cozy cottage, so of course everything has to be cozy in here. And we once again have a second storage floor, where I seem to have missed some windows, but we have a whole ton of barrels, which will give us extra space at a time when we dearly need it. Now, I dearly love this cottage, but it does raise a little bit of a problem. And that problem is the area behind me. We have done a little bit of work with path building. As always, we have tons of farms that give a nice little scenic overlook. But in general, this whole area needs to go, because since episode 2, I've had bigger plans for this place. You see, we are nearly 400 days into this world, and since episode 1, we've had all of our animals in these pens right here. And I can't, in my right mind, give you a day 500 download without getting rid of these animals right here. But don't you worry, you all may live, at least for the moment. We're gonna take the animals from that pen and make them a barn over in this area right here. But of course, that's gonna take a ton of work. The spruce trees have made tons of podzol all over the ground here, and we're gonna have to get rid of all the acacia trees in the area. And so, since time is always of the essence here, I say let's get crack-lacking on doing that, and let's make it pretty cinematic style. Well, I must say, it feels really good to have all of this podzol cleared away. As you can see right here, we have a little bit of a layout for our barn that we're gonna have, and I do think that I'm gonna switch out this block palette. I'm not exactly sure what blocks we're gonna use yet, but I think that that's part of the fun when you're building with whatever you have. And so let's get crack-a-lackin' on building this barn, and as we hop into the cinematic, please do consider leaving a like on the video. I put a ton of time and effort into making these videos for you all, and it really does mean a lot. So let's start building. And that is a mighty fine barn, if you don't mind me saying. I think that the crimson wood stairs in the acacia slabs behind me worked out perfectly. All of the texture with the trapdoors and the stairs with more trapdoors right here gives an extra little vibe. It's nice and cozy as we enter the gate, and we have a wonderful view of the windmill. But for now, we're not completely done with this build yet. I think that I'm going to put even more crop fields right over here, and then this area right here has a wonderful spot where we can put a path over to the bridge. And then when we're done with that, we'll put the animals into their proper places. I really just think that some decoration makes everything better. The crops all over give a really nice accent, and as you'll notice behind me, we do have all of our animals in the pen. If we head on inside, we'll be greeted by Eclipse on the right, and then over in this direction we have our sheep, and on the far end over here we have our cows. It feels good to have finally given them a home. I also think that the jungle trapdoors to separate the crops on the top level is a really nice accent, along with these lampposts which we have spread out throughout the entire area, along with on the way to the bridge. But we have unfortunately run into a problem. If I open my inventory, you'll notice that we've kind of run out of diamond tools, and if we look at our armor, it's just about to break. So the game plan here is to set a 1-hour timer and to try to get some diamonds, because we won't be able to build a massive cathedral over in this area without good tools, and since this is hardcore, we definitely want to have some good armor as well. So I'll check in with you all in an hour, and we'll see how many diamonds we've gotten.
Well, that took absolutely forever, but as you can see, we have 20 diamonds in hand, and we have 4 coast armor trims as well. So I say let's head on over to the crafting table and we'll make ourselves another diamond chestplate, another pair of leggings, and a brand new axe. We can switch out these guys. We'll hold on to these last 2 diamonds for another time. But ladies and gentlemen, it is already day 437, which means that we are running out of time before day 500 in order to complete this build. So it's time to get to work on preparing this area for the build, and I'm still gonna have to tinker around in creative mode in order to figure out exactly what this build is gonna look like. So let's fell some trees, I'll do some experimentation behind the scenes, and when everything is good to go for the build, we'll check in then and start working on the biggest build yet of the kingdom. So I'm bringing you back in early. We have collected most of the materials that we're gonna need for the build, and I have gotten along to building it in creative mode as well. But now that I've built it, I'm realizing that this is the biggest build that I've ever made, by a good margin as well. So before we get to building this massive cathedral over here, it's about time that we get some elytra, and it is currently day 451, but we're gonna need this elytra as soon as possible. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the big fight. I'm gonna be live streaming this. If you want to catch my live streams, you can usually find them on Friday evenings, and I always post announcements in my Discord, which you can find below if you want to catch them. So while we stream this awesome end fight, I'm gonna give you it all in cinematic style. Make it good, editor slip. And we have officially reached the end game. And so on day 484, I am feeling like quite a happy man. We are finally able to fly around our world for the first time. And I gotta say, it's a pretty good feeling. But we're not gonna be using our elytra too much, as we want to conserve it for the build that we're gonna be making. But I did want to show you our spoils from the end city. If we head on over to our enchanting cave, which we're definitely gonna have to fix up at a later point, you'll see that in this chest right here, we have tons of spoils from the end. We have Unbreaking 3 on a diamond chestplate, Fire Protection 5, and Unbreaking 3 on a pair of diamond leggings, Protection 3 on my old pair of diamond leggings, couple of potions of healing, a ton more potions of slow falling from our excursions, some dragon's breath, and a whole ton of books that we enchanted from the levels that we got from the end fight. But in reality, the real spoils we have in our hands. If we head into the inventory, you'll see that our diamond shovel has Unbreaking 3 and Efficiency 5, our diamond pickaxe has Mending and Unbreaking 3, our diamond axe has Efficiency 3 and Unbreaking 3, I enchanted our diamond toe to have Efficiency 3, and of course, we have our elytra. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get building. If I pull up the schematic that I have for the build in Lightmatica, you can see that it really is quite a big build. So wish me luck on making this gigantic cathedral. And if you're enjoying the video thus far, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you're new, and leave a like if you like the video. Let's hop into this awesome replay mod cinematic. Make it good, editor slip. After long last, I can say that we are officially ready to go for the build. As you can see, we have everything in our chest. We have tons of glass over here. This chest has tons of andesite. This chest right here has all of our miscellaneous materials that we're not going to use for the build. We have a ton of stone in this chest, a bunch of cobblestone in this chest, even more stone and stone stairs in this chest, and granite and cobblestone along with mangrove stairs and mangrove logs in this chest. We have mossy stone bricks in this chest, and a whole ton of stripped logs in this chest right here. And of course it starts to rain when we're about to build, but I gotta say, it has taken me absolutely forever to get the materials for the build. To give you all some perspective, that replay mod of me stripping all the logs took me an hour and a half, but the area looks good to go. So I think that I'm gonna wait for night to fall, we'll sleep, and then we'll start building this beautiful cathedral. And man, I can't wait to see how it turns out. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Hardcore Kingdom. Now that we've passed day 500, we are the farthest that I've ever been in a hardcore world. And so let's celebrate that fact with a huge building right here and a super awesome replay mod cinematic. Hours of building later, and we have quite an incredible build, but I'm not going to talk about it yet because we still have more work to do. We're going to have to decorate this entire area and fit it in with the rest of the kingdom, which means making a path along this way here, and I still haven't decided on whether or not I want to decorate these walls more. Also, if we head inside, you'll notice that we have a little bit of a storage area, but this is just for me to get the concept of what I want for storage, but we are nowhere near done building. So I say let's get back to work and put on the final touches for our build, and then we'll discuss everything that we've made and put an official name to this cathedral. Let me introduce you to the best build that I've ever made in this game. This cathedral just looks absolutely stunning, and although it took me about 10 hours to build in this world, including all the farms around it, I am so happy with how it came out. However, before I give you a tour of the cathedral, I am looking for a name for this building. If you have any ideas, please do let me know in the comments below. And I did also want to tell you, we did get armored up and we got mending on a lot of our materials while doing this. I'll show the evidence of me gathering mending from a villager right here. But if we open our inventory, you'll notice that our Elytra El Viento has mending on it. Our diamond helmet has Respiration 2, Unbreaking 3, Protection 2, and mending. Our chest plate El Protector still only has Protection 3, but we'll get mending on it soon. Our diamond leggings have Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, and mending. And then Los Zapatos have Projectile Protection 3 and Feather Falling 3. Our sword El Terremoto has Unbreaking 3, Sweeping Edge 3, and Looting 1. And then our diamond pickaxe El Minero has Mending, Unbreaking 3, Fortune 2, and Efficiency 5. Our hoe La Semilla has Efficiency 5 and Mending. And finally, our axe El Destructor de Madera has Efficiency 4, Unbreaking 3, and Mending. And so you can say that we are definitely suited up for the next chapter of the Survival Kingdom. Although it took us way past day 500 to get there, we are now on day 628, meaning that this episode took about 300 in-game days in order to complete. If you can see all the work that I put in this video, please do consider leaving a like. But without further ado, let's give a little bit of a tour of our cathedral. As we head along this path, you'll notice that we have tons of plant life all over the area. And that is because I absolutely love making farms in Minecraft. I think they look so pretty, and I can't think of any better way to encapsulate a build than with having tons of farmland around it. We have lots of 2 tall flowers going along the entire right side over here, and we have detailed the entire area right here too. The lampposts give that extra texture, and then we have tons going on in every single little nook and cranny of our cathedral. If we head over in this direction, past the end of the farms, we we have our huge chunk that we're digging out, and then even more plant life over in this area here. We have even more detailing in this area right here. We have the backside, and I really do love all of the colored stained glass that we have. I got extra fancy with having some chains and some iron trapdoors right here. And gosh, the slope that we have with the two tall flowers right here, right next to our blacksmith, gives a nice opening to the rest of the kingdom. We of course have even more detailing in this area right here. And then you'll notice that I haven't done anything with this area right here, and it's because I'm thinking about making a small build, although I still haven't made up my mind. If you have any ideas about what should go here, let me know in the comments. We can head back down the stairs right here. We have even more farms that are separated by our stone brick walls. And so we'll head back over to the front. We have a nice little garden area right here. And then I say let's head inside and check out our interior. And you'll notice that we have a completely different vibe as soon as we enter this area. I spent a ton of time kind of making like an enchanting pool right here. We have a bunch of different types of stained glass, which really provides a feeling of depth in this congested area. I decided to take our warped and crimson wood and use that for the color palette. And you'll notice it on this side too. I really like the design that we came up with. And then we have tons of buttons on the walls too. You'll notice that not every single chest is filled right here, but we have been doing some organizing. If we head into any chest here, you'll notice that we have all of our materials kind of set up and organized, which is the reason that we ended up making this mega cathedral in the first place. And we have even more accents with bookshelves giving some extra color on the sides too. This area right over here is going to be where we put all of our food items. We have nether things over in this direction here. We have glass and other building blocks in this area. We have essential items such as paper, leather, we have books and bone meal and spider eyes over here. And then in this area right here, we have all of our kind of stonish building blocks. We've got mossy and cobble, we have stone bricks along with other building blocks such as granite. In this area over to the right, this is where we're holding all of our wood. You'll notice that we have dark oak, mangrove, we got our oak, we got ladders and other miscellaneous things in here. We've got jungle, we've got spruce, we even have our crimson and our warped wood. And as you can see in this area right here, we have all of our most essential items. We have enchanted books and we have obsidian, we have our potions, and overall, just a whole ton of good stuff. And so if you can see through the trapdoors in the ceiling right here, we do have plenty more space to fill out. Although I have no intention of doing so right now because as you can see, we still have plenty more space for storage. But I will show you if we head up the ladder right here, we have a whole nother area, and I'm thinking that maybe at some point we put another lava farm here. I have one furnace right over in this area, and if we make this into a huge smelting area, that would totally help us with being efficient when it comes to getting ready for builds. We do have another door that heads into this area right here, but we have really nothing going on, so we'll close the door and then we'll head back up to this top area here, so we can finally take down our scaffolding right here, and we have our center room, which in my opinion gives a really cool look at the rest of the kingdom. You can see that we have all of our stained glass right here giving all those patterns, and eventually we'll have another room here, another room there, another room here, and another room on the side that we can all decorate. But once again, this entire build is my own design, and it is definitely the best build that I've ever made in this game. And so we are already halfway to day 1000 in this world, and this season 3 of the Hardcore Kingdom is really where I'm starting to become a good builder. We have tons of adventures and ideas planned for the next 400 days or so, and if you like my cinematics and you're wondering how to do them yourself, I'm gonna leave a link to the video that I've made on how to do replay mod in the description below. It's my most watched video on my YouTube channel, and many people have found it super informative, so I hope that you enjoy it too. We have survived almost 700 days in the Hardcore Kingdom, but the thing is, we can't really call it a kingdom if it's only one place. So for the next 100 days, we're gonna work on this island, and we're gonna transform it into a beautiful, bodacious village. And of always, I've been doing some work between cuts. So you could say that I'm feeling quite prepared, but there's only one way to find out, so why don't we put our rockets in hand and fly off to find our new home. But we can fly around our cabin right here, and we're gonna continue along the path. We'll keep on going, and then you'll notice that we have a little bit of a dock area right here, because this is going to be the place where we start building. Not exactly this dock area right here, but this island that you can see in front of us. You can see that it's not too much room, but it's enough for us to get a whole lot of work done and make this place incredibly detailed. But of course, we're gonna have to make this place a little bit uglier before we make it better. We might as well take out our axe and get a chopping. And just like that, an entire forest is gone. I must say, I do like the canvas that we have in front of us. I'm so excited to see what this place is gonna look like in 100 days. And if we head over here, you'll notice that we have plenty of materials to build with. In this chest right here, we have a ton of warped wood, we have tons of spruce right here, and in this chest right here, a bit of dark oak in this double chest right here, some deep slate in this double chest, some mangrove planks in here, bunch of plants, trees, and decoration items, some miscellaneous blocks here, a lonely stack of andesite, more stone in this double chest, and finally, we have cobblestone in this large chest right here. And to be honest, I really haven't given too much thought to what I'm going to be building on this island, and I think that that's part of the fun of it all. But now that we have this chest monster right here, I'm thinking it might be a good idea to make ourselves a little bit of a starter house. That way we'll have some shelter for the night, along with some extra storage space so that we don't have to have all these chests lying out here in the open. Now, to be honest, I was quite nervous when it came to building this starter base. Both dark oak and crimson logs are two color palettes that I've never really used before, but I wasn't quite sure if I would do it well for the first time. And we have plenty of 2 tall flowers on the side, we also have an azalea bush, but we can head inside to take a look at the interior. As you can see, we have tons of chests and barrels. We have materials, in some of them they're kind of organized, but to be honest, most of them are still empty. It's the same thing on this side right here, and then we can head up the ladder, where we'll be met with a second other storage floor. The inside of the second floor is kind of split up into 2 different areas. We have barrels on the side on each, and then also some chiseled bookshelves, which I'll get around to putting some books in later. We'll be going for full interiors for every build during this transformation, which to be honest is a challenge that I'm really looking forward to. But right now we're gonna quickly sleep for the night, and as the sun rises, I'm gonna tell you about the second build of this island. You see, I want a reason to come back to this island, and to do that, we're gonna put a couple farms in this area. And in this area right in front of me, we're gonna have a bit of a clay farm. This past week, Waddles made a video where he ended up making a clay farm, and he did it in a way that I found incredibly efficient. So I'm gonna give my best shot at making a clay farm using his method, while maintaining the color palette that we have for the starter house. If you've gotten thus far in the video, please do consider leaving a like, and I'll see you after this replay mod cinematic, which will eventually start when it stops raining. Now I must say, this color palette is totally treating me well. As you can see, our clay farm is complete, and I think it's my favorite build that we've made thus far. You can see that we totally went above and beyond with all of the trapdoors that we have for details, which means that we might have to do it on this building too, which at this moment is okay with me. We still have plenty of more time left to build. You'll notice on the right side, we have a little bit of a stable which happens to be housing a llama, although his wandering trader friend happens to be gone. I wonder what happened to him. And so we can head inside our awesome cozy cabin, which holds our clay farm. You'll notice that we have mud on the floor, and then we have dripstone on the ceilings, which over time will dry out and turn into clay. And knowing a boy Slip, we went all out with the interior too. We have tons of chiseled bookshelves with books in every single slot. And then we can head upstairs. We have a bit of a spiral staircase right here with tons more bookshelves where we can head up to the ladder, and we have our second floor right here. Once again, I went all out on the bookshelves. I'd been waiting for a time to use them, and this seemed like the perfect time. But if we look down right here, you'll notice that all of the mud has turned into clay blocks, which we can now get to harvesting. And while we harvest our clay, I want you to notice we also have pointed dripstone on the ceiling here too, and you can barely notice it, which I think is a pretty good thing. It's an essential part of this farm, but we didn't want it to stand out too much. And so as you can see in our hotbar, we have about a stack and a half of clay balls. And so we'll take all these water bottles and grab some dirt as well, which we'll then use to replant on the top floor. Once we've filled in our dirt, we're then going to take our water bottles and we're going to turn the dirt into mud. And you'll notice we have a little bit of a place right here where we can refill those water bottles. I did this by waterlogging some stairs, and this is the idea that I got from the Waddles video. But we'll continue to turn the dirt into mud, and then in no time we'll have even more clay blocks to smelt. And although it takes a ton of time to get clay blocks using this method, I think it looks cool, and I say that having a farm is better than having no farm at all. And so with 2 houses complete, we're gonna move on to the water. And by that, I mean we're gonna build ourselves a little bit of a ship over here. And as you can see in our chest right here, we have all of the materials that we're gonna need to build it. And so, as always, there's no better way to do this than with an awesome replay mod cinematic. You're gonna have to let me know what you think of the ship in the comments. But without further ado, make the cinematic good. Editor Slip. And those of you that were closely following along with the replay mod cinematic may have seen that I was able to get a trident as well. We were attacked by a drowned, and I was able to come off victorious, so we'll have to get some enchantments on this bad guy later. But for now, I am happy to say that we've officially reached the halfway point in this playthrough, meaning that we only have 50 more days to continue to build on this island. And unfortunately, although we have plenty of stone and we have plenty of other types of wood, we don't have enough dark oak logs. So we're gonna have to do a quick pit stop on building so that we can do some deforestation. However, before we do that, there's one thing that I've been wanting to do for a while that we haven't done yet, and that is to finally put some armor trim on our armor. So for the time being, we're gonna disable the mod pack that lets us not be able to see our armor. And we'll take all our armor off real quick, and then we're gonna head into this barrel right here where we're gonna have tons of gold, some eye armor trims, and some coast armor trims. With these materials in hand, we'll head over to the smithing table. We'll upgrade El Protector with the coast armor trim and some gold. Our diamond helmet will take the eye armor trim and some gold. We'll do the same thing with the eye armor trim for our leggings, and we'll finish off putting coast on our boots. And now talk about looking snazzy. This is my first time ever putting armor trims on in Minecraft, and look how cool this looks. But enough with the side quests. As the sun starts to set, we need to go and get some materials. We still have one more major farm to put on this island, and then we gotta make everything look pretty. So let's head on off to chop down some dark forest logs. And so now, it is officially time to make our second and last farm for the island. And I have been subtly hinting at this farm the entire episode. In fact, it's actually right behind me. And so, we are going to be making an automatic bamboo farm. This is something that I've been thinking about doing for a while now, but I just haven't had a chance to do it. If you've gotten thus far in the video, please do consider leaving a like. And so while it continues to rain bamboo, I say, let's get to a building. We are officially 70% of the way through the playthrough, and as you can see right here, we have a completed build. But before I get to showing you it, we have a wandering trader behind me. So I say, let's see what he has to offer. I think that Carl actually has some small drip leaf for us, so we're gonna get ourselves some. We can take out 24 emeralds from our storage room, and then buy as many small drip leaf as we can. It looks like we have 10. And man, it is unfortunate that he locked out, but I do think that having some small drip leaf will be important for the future operation. And without further ado, let us take a look at the interior of this build. As we head inside, it can be a little bit difficult to get through, but we have a couple of tables right here, and you can tell that everything is super decorated with trapdoors. And on the left side right here, we have a bit of an entrance to our bamboo farm. You can probably hear the mine shaft going around there, but we have a wall that's accented with tons of miscellaneous blocks that we haven't used before, and I think that it's kind of funky, and I'm glad that we were able to use these materials. And where this trapdoor is right here, we can head on over, and you'll notice that we have a minecart that's spitting out bamboo for us. If I
I zoom in right here, you'll notice that I have a bit of a chest and we can hop inside and you'll see that we have some bamboo ready for us. I had really wanted to fit the bamboo farm inside the house, but I just couldn't. But now that the build is complete, I'm actually really happy with how it came out. And so we can head up the stairs and head up this ladder right here to the second floor. And as you may guess, this area is strictly for storage. We once again went all out with dark oak trapdoors right here, and we have some spruce fences. And I really can't tell if this place is over accented or under accented. I feel like it's bland in that it only holds storage, but I still like how it looks. And if we head out the backside right here, you'll see that we're right up on our ship, which I must say I am quite happy with. I really think that it adds to the ambiance of the island. However, we only have 30 days left to build on this island, and so we're gonna spend the rest of the playthrough decorating this entire area with farms, with flowers, with ponds. Essentially, this is my favorite part of any Minecraft playthrough. You can go with your creative impulse and just build whatever you want in the area, and in my opinion, it always turns out pretty. So with our farms complete and some builds on the land, let's get to building this beautiful island. If you're still watching here, I really appreciate you. Your support really means the world to me. I love making these videos for you all. And so if you're new here, subscribing really would mean the world.
This old habit's got a hold on me, won't let go of me. This old habit's got a grip on me, won't set me free, won't leave me be. I can't shake it, I can't break it, I can't get away from you, you pull me in. I can't shake it, I can't break it, I can't get away from you, you pull me in. You're sweet, Lord, it is too much for me. You got me on my knees. I know I should just walk away, but your hold on me won't give away. I can't shake it.
And of course, as soon as I'm starting to give the tour, I notice that I've missed a flower. We'll have to fix that at a later point, but you'll notice that we have pots with flowers all over this island, and they make an awesome difference in the texture and in the color that we have around the island. But we can take our light blue sleeping bag and head to sleep for the night and continue the tour in the morning. And so you'll notice that I've gotten around to detailing the entire pathway around us. We went for a mix of dark oak logs, dark oak planks, spruce planks, deep slate, some clay, and then we also have some rooted dirt right here. I like the dark vibe of the pathway, and I think that it matches pretty well with the palette that we have for the builds. I figured it might be nice to have a makeshift well right in the middle of the island. That way our villagers can get some water as they see fit. And then over here in the wheat fields, we have a little bit of a cart. You can definitely tell that this is a farming people, so it's important to have some extra storage and some wheels to get around. We of course have our clay farm right here, which I think is my favorite out of all the builds. It's definitely the most detailed, and as you can tell, I really like detail. We have some two tall flowers over on the left side, and I think that the wheat fields that we have just completely fit all of the builds in the area. I ended up putting some small drip leaf in the pools of water to hydrate the crops, and if you've never done this before, I highly recommend doing it. I think it looks awesome. We can continue along our path over to our starter base, where you'll notice I kind of kept all of the storage over here. It's definitely a bit of a storage monster that I'm gonna have to clean up later, but I think that we'll keep all of the chests right here just for the aesthetic. And these trapdoors right here enable for me to get up and use the storage how I want to. And then I think that they look okay like this for the aesthetic too. We have our first of our little watchtowers, which is decorated with more pots and flowers. And then over on the back end, we have a little bit of a potato field, and it's outlined with tons of watermelons. This backside of the island is totally lush, and I really like how it came out. As we continue along to the right side of the house, you'll notice that we have a little bit of a fishing dock here. It's got even more potatoes and melons down on this side, and then we have tons of accents with oak trapdoors, spruce trapdoors, some barrels, and a lantern with fences.
circumstances. And although we're past 800 days in this world, I actually don't think that I have a fishing rod, which I guess is something that we're gonna have to change in the future. And of course it starts to rain, which I guess in theory would help us with our fishing situation. But we'll continue on because I think that this place looks pretty regardless. You'll notice that this end of the island is pretty much decorated the same, and we might as well head inside for a moment to see how much bamboo we've gotten. If we head into our chest, you'll notice that we have about 9 stacks of bamboo, which I know isn't too much, but we also don't need any, so I would say that's pretty good progress. And so if we head out the right side of our bamboo farm, you'll be met with another tower. I feel like the flag turned out a little bit weird on this one, but we're still gonna go with it. And I find this corner of our island to be just kind of so cozy feeling. I think that the walls and the bushes and the plants just have a great texture line and great detail leading over into the horizon. And especially in the rain, it kind of just feels cozy. We can head along over to the back side of the house where our sailboat resides. And I really like the look at the rest of the island from this direction. And since it is now dark, I hope that you notice that I have spent a ton of time on the lighting. I'm pretty sure that everything is spawn proof on the island and it is lit up with such a nice ambiance. Honestly, rain or shine, night or day, it's really nice to hang out in this area. But let's head to sleep real quick to get rid of the rain. And so we have another dock right here where you could take a small boat to head to your main ship. And I knew that this island was a good canvas to build with, but this place turned out so much better than I was even expecting. I might have to say that this could be my favorite spot in the kingdom so far, which I'd love to know your thoughts. What's your favorite build that I've made so far in the series? Maybe it's the windmill, maybe it's the mega cathedral that we made last episode, or maybe it's one of the many smaller builds that we have in the kingdom. But regardless, I would really like to know. Our goal is to expand the kingdom over time and to have plenty of other places just like this where we can visit. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, please do consider subscribing. And as always, I'll leave you with one last cinematic of the kingdom. There's a hole in my Minecraft world, a massive hole that I've been mining for the last 800 days in this hardcore kingdom. And by the end of this episode, this hole will be transformed into a beautiful rainbow chunk. But in order to do that, we're gonna need all the different colors of dye. So I say, let's head on a little bit of an adventure. It always feels good to get out of the kingdom and go explore for a little bit. But here, as you can see, we are back at the cathedral next to Eclipse, and I am happy to announce that we have all 16 colors of dye. We can head inside the interior of our storage cathedral, and over on this end we have a storage chest with all of our dye colors. And we'll eventually use all of those colors of dye to make a big wool farm, which will give us all of the wool that we need in order to fill this entire chunk that we have right here in. I'm so excited to make this entire chunk into a rainbow, but unfortunately we still have a couple of steps to go in order to get there. You see, the wool farm that we're gonna be making is kind of expensive on iron, and although we made our iron farm about 500 days ago, it's pretty much been in disrepair since we built it, and I've been mining away to get all of the iron that we've been needing for our builds. But as I'm telling you, this wool farm is particularly iron heavy, and so it might be a good bet to get this guy up and running once again, and I think I have a pretty interesting solution for doing it as well, although it might be kind of expensive. So let's get to work on Iron Farm version 2, and if you like my strategy for fixing it, please let me know with dropping a like on the video. As you saw through the cinematic, my strategy here was to use tinted glass. We have this cutesy little bridge that leads on over to an amethyst geode, and if we head inside, you'll notice that we have a bit of an amethyst shard farm. The key to this type of farm are these blocks right here with the special indents. These blocks, and only these blocks, can grow the shards over time. The most efficient way to grow these shards is to expose all of these blocks to air on all 4 sides. Doing so allows the maximum amount of shards to grow at once. However, it does take some patience to get a bunch of shards. Regardless, we can leave the geode and head on over to the iron farm, after a quick stop to the cathedral that is, where we can grab ourselves our tinted glass. I really do love the interior that we have here. It's one of my favorite things that we've made. So let's hop on Eclipse and head on over to the iron farm. And here we are. We've come such a long way in the 500 days since episode 3, but we can let Eclipse hang out right over here by the cherry tree, and we'll be using our tinted glass to cover up this area of the farm. That way we'll hopefully not have any more zombies burn up in the sun. For those of you that have been here since episode 3, you'll know that that's already happened twice, and we might as well put a couple more crops in this area too. So let's get this iron farm back up and running cinematic style. It'll come as a surprise to none of you that I got a bit carried away, but the good news is we shouldn't ever have iron problems again. I mean, fingers crossed, we've surrounded our iron farm in this awesome glass dome. You'll notice that it's spotted with tinted glass, which blocks the light from coming in and hitting the zombie. However, as you can tell, there's a perfect amount of space to fit the iron golems in so that they can spawn and then fall to be burned in the lava. And I gotta say, this bad boy is quite efficient. Better yet, we've covered this entire area with farmland. It feels like a job well done. And as a added benefit, it prevents iron golem spawning as well. You can see here that I tried out a different type of path. We have spruce slabs, some acacia logs, spruce logs, and then some dripstone here too. And I had wanted to see if this color palette works, and I totally think that it does. I am going to consider putting this path design down in the rest of the kingdom, although I gotta say, it is quite expensive. However, ladies and gentlemen, iron is no longer expensive at our kingdom. Matter of fact, it might be cheaper than clicking the like button. We can head into our chest to where we'll be met with a boatload of iron, and better yet, we'll be starting to work on this area of the kingdom a little bit more going forward, which means that the iron farm behind me is going to consistently keep running. And so, since I have a feeling that we're going to have a ton of iron at some point, I've made a little bit of a storage cabin. If we head off to the sides, you'll notice that I also used tinted glass for the windows. The build has plenty of trapdoors as always, and I think that it struck up a perfect balance of texture. You don't want to over detail and you don't want to under detail, and I think that this strikes the balance pretty well. And so we can head inside, and you'll see that we have a little bit of a storage area here. We have a bunch of barrels, and I included a cauldron here just for some extra decoration. This area is of course dotted with a couple of tall flowers as well, and I think it really gives this area an extra reason to visit. I used to hate to come to visit the iron farm. The first reason was because it didn't work, and the second reason was because I thought that this area really didn't look that good. But now I really do just love hanging out here and watching the iron golems fall into the lava pit, and I do think that this place is worth checking out upon the day 1000 world tour download. Although, as you can see right here, it's day 854, meaning that we still have about 40 hours of time ahead of us. And as we head down the path, you'll notice that I use plenty of lanterns, because I love the vibe that you get when you hang them off the cherry tree. But you'll notice that as we head down the hill, we have two double chests waiting for us. This first one here is filled with tons of shears and iron, and the second chest is filled with all of the materials that we're going to be needing in order to make our wool farm. And as you can tell with all these minecarts with hoppers, this build is not cheap, so you can see why we needed to get our iron farm up and going. But I am nowhere near smart enough to know how to make a farm like this, so we'll be following a tutorial by Nivola MC, which of course will be linked in the description. So I say let's knuckle down and build this farm, and then I'll check in with you all when things are good to go. To be honest, that wasn't nearly as much of a pain as I thought it would be. It seems that once you get the materials, it's only a factor of building this farm. Although we still have to get each sheep dyed by the color spectrum, which we'll get to doing in a little bit, but as you can tell, this sheep farm is firing. Each one of our dispensers has 8 shears, so we should be good to go for the time being. And while we wait to get a whole ton of sheep, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to make a beautiful build in this area right here. Oh my, oh my, oh my. I think that I might have outdone myself with this one. As you can see here, we have an awesome sheep farm, and I've really gone the extra mile putting on all the details. We can walk up along our stone path where we have this beautiful tower, or lodge, or castle, or whatever it is. This awesome, beautiful building, which may be my best build yet thus far, although it's kind of hard to compete with this bad boy that we have in the distance, which is from episode 5. If you haven't seen it, I totally recommend it, but I decided to use just as much detail with this build. We have this beautiful walkway here that goes on into the woods, which is an area that I'm super excited to spread into in the future, and we have tons of pots with a bunch of different flowers and saplings, alongside our 2 different wheat fields, which I think gives a good amount of variety to the crops in the area. And over to the left right here, we have a bit of a wheelbarrow. I love the vibe that the mangrove accents give it, and I think that it's a worthwhile addition to any survival world. And the pond right here, right next to our storage area, is decorated with tons of different flowers. We have lilacs and peonies, and then you'll notice that this place is also decorated with tons of slabs, which gives a really nice detailed kind of atmosphere to the pond. And over by this end of the house right here, we have another pond that I've detailed the same way. I gotta say, this area was looking so barren before, and having a couple of ponds in the area just like this really changes the vibe and makes the entire area feel so much more lived in. And if we head down the path right here, you'll notice that we're gonna wind up on a bit of a dock area. We've once again kept to the theme of mangrove, spruce, and dark oak, and it matches so perfectly to the dock that this might be my favorite dock that I've ever made. We've got barrels with spruce trapdoors, and then we have mangrove trapdoors here, and when it's all put together, it just comes out perfectly, and it gives an awesome little look into the areas that we still have yet to explore. And my, I think my favorite view is the one that we get from the dock too. You'll notice that we have 2 tall flowers that are spread out side by side, and to contain all the flowers, we have stone bricks with stone brick walls, which in my opinion just looks really nice. And as the sun sets across the river, you can see that we have a wonderful view of the new build. One thing that I've really been trying to do recently is focus on lighting when it comes to builds. And with the toolbar off, you'll notice that I've paid extra attention to the lighting for this build. And now I say that it's time to head inside to show you what it's all about. And just like always, I've done a full interior. And so we can quickly take a look at the build from the front. It has tons of mangrove trapdoors and crimson buttons. And my oh my, do I love the look of crimson trapdoors. And you didn't see it in the replay mod, but I ended up putting tons of jungle leaves up on the roof right here. And in my opinion, it's the perfect little accent that we needed for the build. We have an awesome Japanese sort of style looking roof, and then we have towers over in the distance here by the moon. And for my first attempt with experimenting with new build styles and new color palettes, I would consider it a total success. But we can head inside the sheep farm, where we're met with a pretty cool looking interior. You can see that the farm is working because all of the sheep don't have any of their wool on there, and you may be able to hear the sounds of the shears working too. But if we head down here, you'll notice that we have a trapdoor underneath every single sheep, and inside the chest we're gonna have a ton of wool. And the same applies for every single chest that we have in here, except for it looks like not all sheep were created equal, because if we head inside and we head over to where our pink sheep is right here, if we head into the chest, you'll notice it only has 4 stacks. But it's no matter because we should have enough wool to fill up the entire chunk, which is something that I've been steadily working away at. But we can head up the ladder here, and we'll be met with a second interior for the build. We've got a bit of a seating area right here. We have tons of accents with cups and flowers, and I must say I do really like the look of the tinted glass. We sure have been using it a lot this episode. And so we have some extra storage on the side, and we have some tree looking things over here too. And the other room over here looks very similar. We have another seating area, some more storage and some extra trees, and then right here we actually have some iron blocks, which is crazy that we can afford now. It's my first time ever being able to do that. And the entire area is of course accented with tons of trapdoors, but we can head up here and we have an awesome look at the rest of the kingdom as well. And if we head back to the middle area, we have our patio out here giving another wonderful look at the kingdom. This area is supposed to be like a grilling out area, and so we have some meat over here, and then we have some veggies in this direction here, and we have a seating area where you can look out at the rest of the kingdom. And I gotta say, I wish that I could live in this house. It's exactly what we're looking for, and I think that all the details are wonderful. And so we can head back inside and then head up the ladder to the 3rd floor, where we'll be met with another small interior. It's quaint, it's cozy, and it has a couple of scenic overlooks at the rest of the kingdom, which is exactly what I was looking for. And so as the sun rises, it's finally time to build our rainbow chunk. We can can fly off the balcony and head over to our chunk area, and we can get a good look of all of the work that I've been doing. And so as we head on over, and before we look down, let's take a look at all of the work that I've been doing, and let's do it cinematic style. And so, as you can see, we've made it all the way to bedrock. I'm gonna crouch on down and we can zoom on in and you'll see that the only thing that we've left are the diamonds. And I must say, it's quite a crazy experience when we fly down here. I don't really want to talk while I do it, but as you can see here, we have reached bedrock and we have a couple of caves here, no ancient cities or anything like that. But I gotta say, this is quite a cool feat. If you're thinking about playing in a long-term world and you want to do it, I super recommend doing it. Just don't put a deadline on yourself and do this method whenever you need materials for a build. And slowly but surely, you'll have a cave that's looking just like this. But ours is about to look a ton different. As you know, it's about to be an entire rainbow. It takes 122 blocks to reach the top of our chunk. And within no time, these 122 blocks are going to become a rainbow. And so if you're down with that, leave a like on the video and make the cinematic good, Editor Slip. And so, I think we can definitely say that we have the most decorated chunk in all of hardcore Minecraft. As you can see, I've been doing a little bit of work off camera. I wanted to extra decorate this place, and knowing me, the best way to do it is with crops. And so we have stone walls everywhere you can see, and of course, I've taken the care to place down lanterns in every single place where we need light. I guess except for a couple of torches down there. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is the time that we have all been waiting for. We can take a final look at our decorated hole, which is definitely a weird thing to say, but as you can see, we have an entire rainbow. And you'll notice I covered up the bedrock floor with even more wool in a colored fashion, which honestly just gives a really cool vibe. And it's funny, it's actually out of render distance, but we have something down here waiting for us. And so we can jump down into our rainbow. And at the bottom, you'll notice, woo, gotta be careful there, Slip. And then you'll notice that we have 4 chests down here. And you'll also notice that I do have some gold in hand, because as any Irish man or woman could tell you, at the end of the rainbow, you have a pot of gold. And so we're going to place our gold in this chest, giving us some official lore to our kingdom, which I've officially named Lycos, which I may have already mentioned, but if not, there it is. And just as exciting is the fact that we've reached day 1000 in this world. You can see it right here on the day screen. And gosh, we still have a lot more to do, which I'm excited for, and I really do think that this kingdom is starting to come together. And as you can see, it takes 3 full rockets for us to pop out here. And so as always, there's more to come soon. But that is going to be it for today's episode. We made an awesome automatic wool farm, and we decorated this incredible rainbow chunk as well. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider leaving a like, and as always, I will see you in the next video. When playing Minecraft, it's easy to leave a build unfinished. Once your build finally feels good enough or has served its purpose, it's fairly easy to move on from it. And many of us know that once we moved on, we're probably not coming back to finish it. So before we go and expand our wonderful kingdom, I want to do just that and spend 100 days fixing and upgrading our base. And as you can tell, I have done a good amount of decorating in some areas. For example, our area here has decorated paths that has custom ponds. Put simply, it has all the extra decorations. But if we leave this area, you'll quickly notice that we have other parts that have barely been touched at all. And so this is exactly where we're going to start, with our paths. It's finally time to bring this kingdom off to the Stone Age, and so let's do it cinematic style. Well, you could safely say that we've made some significant improvements to the kingdom. I was listening to a Flip video the other day, and he mentioned that having pathways around your build really changes up everything, and I really couldn't agree with him more. But before I give you a tour of everything that I've done, I have to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is myself. You see, I've been working hard behind the scenes for you all, and so if you really enjoy the content that I make, I'm happy to tell you that there's even more that you can find. Believe it or not, I've been working on a secret kingdom behind the scenes, a kingdom for members only, and we can find it by accessing our waypoint right here. We can click into it and you'll find our member kingdom, and we can teleport there, where we can step beyond the waypoint and you'll see that we've been doing a ton of work. And I absolutely love this kingdom. The point of it is that I've been building something every single week and seeing what happens when I make small builds every single week over time. And at the time of recording this video, we're already 9 episodes in, which means that if we've been keeping consistent, we have a whole ton more videos for you to see on the channel. But I don't want to show off too much, so we're gonna head back to the main kingdom, where the sun sets peacefully upon our new stone paths. In addition to a members only series, you'll get access to what I call settler slips. You see, our wonderful kingdom is made with your help, and if you're willing, I'd love for you to be a citizen of the kingdom. And becoming a settler of the kingdom of Lycos comes with its own settler badges. Everyone gets the original settler slip at first, along with access to the citizen slip badge. After a couple of months, you'll get access to the artisan badge. And then, a couple months after that, you'll get access to nobility, which in my opinion looks pretty awesome with the trim diamond gear. And for those of you that are fans of my cinematics, you'll also get an exclusive advanced replay mod tutorial. I love making these videos for you all, and your support is what enables me to keep going. So if you've been here for a while, please do consider joining the channel. And as we walk around the kingdom, you'll notice that every single little piece is covered in stone, which is just so cool looking, and I really wanted to bring this kingdom to the Stone Age, which I think we've definitely succeeded with. In terms of the block palette that we used, we have some cobblestone, we have some andesite, we have some stone bricks, some mossy cobblestone, some mossy stone bricks, and of course some stone. And I really can't get over it, although it did happen to take 48 days out of our 100, meaning that the clock is starting to get ticking. And so it's time for the next project, which is going to be putting lampposts around the entire kingdom. And yes, I know, these are okay. They do fit the purpose of what we're looking for. But now that we're officially in the Stone Age, it's time to level up these bad boys too, which I'm really excited to do, and I think that we're gonna do something unique. So I'm gonna whip up something pretty cool in a creative test world, and then we'll get to placing all our lampposts around the kingdom. So let's hop into it. Make it good, editor slip. Now take a look at this lit up kingdom. All of the lampposts really come together to give a well put vibe to the kingdom, which is a good feeling to have because we only have 30 days left in the playthrough. And so now it's time to focus our attention over by the area by the wool farm. And as you'll notice, we have a ton more lampposts over in this direction here, leading all the way up to the iron farm. And so as you can maybe tell, what we want to do is we want to make a path leading from this area right here all the way up to the iron farm, which I have a feeling is going to pose a little bit of a challenge. This is quite a steep incline, and so hopefully we can find out something good. But we have no time to waste, so let's get to a building. Now this area is looking a whole lot better. I went in with some extra added detail with some iron bars here, and we have some extra pots and plants right next to our lampposts all around our staircase going up. It leads all the way up to the top, connecting us for the first time with the iron farm, and it gives us a wonderful look at the rest of the kingdom as the cherry leaves fall around us. And so with all of this complete, it is time to work on the next part of decorating the kingdom. And I've honestly been waiting to do this for a very long time, because although you haven't seen it, your boy Slip has made a couple of mistakes while building this kingdom. There were a couple of times when I desperately needed resources, and as you can see, I ended up ransacking my villagers' houses in order to get them. We not only did it here, but we've also done it here, and we did it really badly over here too. And I think it's unfair to leave our villagers here without a home, so I think that I'm gonna mess around and build a couple of houses. I think that the villagers are going to be much happier with these cozy homes. We can start off the tour with this house here. It's quaint and cozy looking. I like the green accents that we have with the pots with the saplings, and has windows made out of iron bars, which is something I haven't yet done this playthrough. And I do want to apologize if my voice does sound a little bit different. It's because I'm quite sick, but I did want to get a video out to you all. And we can head inside. I did interiors for all the builds, where we have some item frames, a stone cutter, and then a couple of pots with saplings as well. I only have 13 rockets left to my name, so it hurt using a couple of these for decoration, but we do have to flex our wealth here at the Kingdom of Lycos. So we can leave this home over here and head over in this direction, where you'll notice that we have another one of our builds. We once again went for a mangrove outline and a deep slate roof, and we have a little awning out here with some 2 tall flowers. And down here at the front looks the same, although one notable thing is with these houses I use signs to decorate for the first time ever. And we have a little bit of the same thing over here. We can head inside this house and we have another interior with some bookshelves right here, and then some more item frames with another rocket, and some more clay pots and bookshelves over in this direction here. And then we have this wonderful build here. This is the biggest of the builds that we made today, which kind of explains why there's so much more detail on it. There's really not too much to work with these smaller builds over here, which is part of the fun in my opinion, but we have some more 2 tall flowers and some more clay pots with saplings right here. And we did the same thing on this end right here, which nicely overlooks our boat, which man, it seems like we built it forever ago. And the kingdom really has come quite a long way since then too. And so we can head inside to our last interior, which is much more of a storage area. We have a table right here, which I'm kind of considering to be a war table. A table where you'd come on over to make decisions. And we also have some food for the soldiers, and some reading for them too in case they get bored. And so I must say it feels good to have this entire area completed. But there is still much more work to be done, and we only have 21 days left in the playthrough. And so the next thing on our agenda is going to be to put some farmland in these areas. And so let's hope we can do it quickly, because we don't have any time to waste here. If you're still here, please do consider leaving a like, and I'll check in with you after an awesome replay mod cinematic. "100 days later, and we have fully completed the Kingdom of Lycos. As you can see here, we have crop fields lining the entire kingdom, and we even spread out to decorate more of the hill over here by the blacksmith. And I gotta say, I am so incredibly proud of everything that we've accomplished here at Lycos. We have a fully completed Rainbow Chunk, our awesome little fishing village of Hue, our entirely decorated member kingdom named Padstow, which once again, you can check out the full series of that kingdom by joining the YouTube membership program. And we have a fully completed kingdom here. This is by far the best Minecraft playthrough I have ever done, and we have even bigger and better things coming for Season 4 of the Hardcore Kingdom, which will be coming your way very, very soon. We have tons of extra decoration with custom banners here, and overall just a ton more decoration in the entire kingdom, but showing you everything that we've done in the last 1,000 days of this world would be a whole video in itself. And so, on my second channel, I'm gonna do a little bit of a longer walkthrough. If you want to see everything that we've done here at Lycos, that's a great way to check it out. But before we go, I do want to give a huge thank you for watching this series. This channel has seen so much growth during the last 1,000 days in this world. I think that I've really grown as an editor and a commentator, and better yet, we've created a community of wonderful people who love this awesome sandbox game. If you're ready for Season 4 of the Hardcore Kingdom, the best way for me to know is by leaving a like on this video, and as the sun begins to set on our last day here in Lycos, you could say that I'm feeling like a really, really happy man.